In a recent short, we created this simple UI chat. We added messages, a handle send that mocks out a response after a timeout, then we had a chat message and chat input. The chat input, super simple, just a text area with a button that sends a message upwards and a handle key down of enter. And then a super simple chat message with just some nice styling. In this video, I want to hook it up to a backend, save it to a database, and even call an LLM. For this video, I'm going to be using Convex for the backend. If you want to follow along, I'd recommend looking at their docs on how to start up, but it's super simple. So in Convex, in the schema.ts file, I'm going to add a chats table to our schema with just a name value. Next up, we have the messages table with a chat ID, which gives it the relationship to the chats table. Then we have the content and then just the role of either the user or assistant. We then have an index to get by chat ID. Now for the backend, I've created a chat.ts file, and for the first mutation, I've send initial message. This is how Claude and OpenAI create a conversation. They wait for a message to come in before creating that conversation, which I quite like. Here it just takes in the message content, returns a chat ID and a message ID, and as we can see here, it first creates the chat ID. It will then create the message with the chat ID, the content, and then just role of user, and it will return both chat ID and message ID. Now the cool thing about Convex is if one of these fails, neither of them will be created. Next up, we just need a send message mutation with the chat ID, content, returns the message ID, and just creates that message with the chat ID, content, and then a role of user as well. So first up, I'm going to add the chat ID state. Then I'm going to add the two mutations that we need for sending the messages. I'm going to change this handle send to an 8. Then here, if the chat ID is null, we're going to send an initial message and then set the chat ID to the result of chat ID. Otherwise, we're just going to send a message. One thing I like to do here is optimistically load the user message, but we need to replace that ID. So here I'm going to make a reusable function that updates the last message ID to the new message ID. And then here we're just going to update those message IDs. And then we just need to change the onSend to handle the async. So here we're just going to do content with void of handle send content. Next up, let's handle the LLM message now. For the LLM, I'm going to use my personal favorite OpenRouter, but feel free to use your own here. So I just want to add the OpenRouter SDK. Now I've added my key to the M file, which I'm not going to share with you. So here we just go const OpenRouter, new OpenRouter with the API key. And in order to choose which model I'm going to use, I'm going to go to OpenRouter ranking, and then I'm going to try Gemini 2 Flash. And then we can just add OpenRouter chat send equals const completion, and then we just have the model, and then messages is role, user, content, args, content. We're just going to get the content out and then throw if there is no content. Then here we're going to create the agent message in the database by inserting the messages with chat ID, content as string, and then just the role of assistant. Then here I'm returning out the assistant message, just the ID, content, and role. So the only thing with this mutation is it actually doesn't work with Convex because it doesn't allow you to run third-party services mutations. You have to create actions. So I'm going to quickly refactor that and show you what it looks like. Then here we've converted the inserts into their own run mutations. So I've done that for the create chat, the create message, then finally the create assistant message. Now here we have a simple create chat as well. Then on the front end, we just want to get the send initial message action. We're just going to replace the call like this. Now you may think of just setting the message like this, but we're actually going to get an issue. So instead, let's use previous messages. So here we're just going to return with the new assistant message, which is going to go directly into the state with the previous state, which works a lot better. So here, following functional programming, what we can actually do is change this into update. So we can change this to update message ID, and instead of just having message ID, we can have previous messages like, and then we're going to spread previous messages. And so down here, we're going to go new messages equals update message ID. And then now we can just push that message and then return the new messages. And for now, I'm going to just comment this out and I'll show you why in a second. Then I'm just going to return this fake message. Now let's test it out to YouTube. We get this nice message back. So back to here, one thing is annoying is we kind of have this duplicated code. So let's refactor it so it's not duplicated. So in here, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to completely delete the old send message. implementation. And then I'm going to change this to just send message. Now I'm actually going to have chat ID as optional. Then here we're going to do let chat ID, and if there is one in the args, we're just going to assign it. Otherwise we're going to create the chat ID. Then everything else works as it used to. Back in the front end, we can actually delete the initial message. And then here we can get back our old implementation and delete the unnecessary if state. Then all we need to do here is let's replace this, and then it will be undefined rather than null. It's much cleaner. One final thing to clean up is this unsafe type. So rather than a random type, we're going to use a pick of document on the messages table with the 3 fields that we were using before. The only thing is we need to change all the underscores. Then one final thing is in the return, we need to add an underscore here instead. And we're all good to go. So now if we write hi YouTube, like so, we get a message back. And then in Convex, if we have a look, we will see a chat with hi YouTube, and then we'll have hi there and the response from the assistant. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, and thanks so much for watching. Cheers.